I'm Donna Holbrook, and today I'm at Jerusalem City Hall with a counselor, is Rabbi Aaron Leibowitz. Hello. Thank you for seeing us today, Aaron.
Hi, Donna. My pleasure.
I understand that you're from California originally, but you made Aliyah at the age of 14. Tell us about your journey here. That is, why did you come, and what has it been like for you to be a counselor in the Jerusalem City Hall?
Well, I was raised in Berkeley as the son of an Orthodox rabbi who always, it wasn't a question of whether we were going to come live in Israel, it was only a question of when. So that direction is something which, is part of my earliest childhood memories, and very much a realization of a dream. And I would say it's a realization of a dream which is coming to full fruition, not only in Israel, but in the capital of Israel. And what to me is a very significant city as the holy city of the Jewish people. And it's a great privilege to not only come and be part of this dream, but also to be one of the people who are giving it direction, who are influencing it, who are designing it. And so it's really all part of one story, and it's a real pleasure and privilege.
What do you envision for Jerusalem, and what do you see as some reform?
So the political party which I'm a part of is unique in that it's pluralistic. It's a party which is a partnership between Orthodox and non-Orthodox, or perhaps you would say non-observant residents of Jerusalem, and that's a big part of our vision. The word in Hebrew for Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, comes from the word shalom, which means peace. Right. And it's heartbreaking that this city doesn't evoke a sense of peace in its recent history, not only in terms of the Arab-Israeli conflict, but also in terms of the tension between Orthodox or ultra-Orthodox and non-Orthodox Jews. So our vision is a vision of a different conversation, non-sectorial, mutual respect, the common good, and not a zero-sum paradigm, but rather a paradigm in which we look out for each other and creatively discuss ways to bring Jerusalem to a place which is better for all, certainly among Jews, but personally, I hold that vision for between Jews and the Arab residents of Jerusalem as well. My vision is a vision of very connected and rooted in our tradition, in our vision of the realization of the Jewish story. But at the same time, 1/3 of the residents of the city are non-Jewish, are Arabs and Christians and Muslims, and I don't see them all disappearing anytime soon. So really, I dream of a day where they also can identify and be part of the great story which is happening here, which I think really is a message to all humankind, not just to the Jewish people.
Well, as a Christian, we fully appreciate the fact that we have access to all of our holy sites, to all of the sites. We don't take that for granted. And how do you see the Christian-Jewish relationship? We come up every year for the Feast of Tabernacles. We do the Jerusalem March, where we bring our flags and pins from about 90 to 100 nations. These are Christians. Have you witnessed that march?
I have witnessed it. As a matter of fact, I live 2 blocks away.
On the route?
From the 2 blocks away from the route, and me and my children every year go out and stand and watch the friends, our friends from all over the world, coming to show their support. I think that I personally happen to believe that despite the theological differences between Jews and Christians, I think as people who are God loving and who are spiritual, I think we share as much as we might not share, and if not more. A sense that this is a world which has to be brought closer to God, turning towards its Creator, a sense of wanting holiness and goodness and kindness and love to define society. So I actually really treasure the partnership, the care. I think that we have a long path to walk together before we get to the things which may be different between us.
What effect, Aaron, is there, do you feel, among, when you see the march, you see that's probably the biggest show of Christian solidarity with Israel during that Sukkot march. How do you feel your fellow neighbor feels about us being here? Do you get a sense of what does that mean to them here?
So, I mean, I think we need to first of all acknowledge the fact that there's a significant ultra-Orthodox population in Jerusalem, who sometimes tend towards a more fundamentalist perspective, and as is the case often with a more fundamentalist worldview, perhaps are less tolerant of other religions. Nonetheless, I think that the Jewish experience throughout history has often been one of loneliness and isolation, and I think that there's something which is very very moving, very deeply moving to me, and I think to others, to see just how many friends Israel has in the world, and that declaration, especially as we face tremendous local opposition in our geography and our with our neighbors, to know that we're not alone, and that there are many Christians in the world. I think also there's a very deep healing that's taking place after many thousands of years of negative experiences that the Jewish people have had with Christians. I feel like there's no longer a sense of suspicion or doubt. I think that it's been very much driven home that the world has evolved to a place where we all appreciate the fact that God smiles when we are kind to one another.
And also, I think our organization and others like us have been in the land for a period of time, maybe over 3 decades, getting on to 4, where that relationship, I think we've learned how to work together on many different aid projects. We get to know one another. We might have a meal together. And there are relationships that are being built. But it took time, right? It took time. What would you like to see happen in the next 5 to 10 years within Jerusalem, personally?
You mentioned before Mayor Barkat's agenda to keep young people in Jerusalem. And he's done a very good job at that. A lot of that has been about making Jerusalem a fun city to live. And there's been, we've seen multiplexes of movie theaters open. We've seen a revival of nightlife. But, I want to say that I think that's valuable to a point. Really, Jerusalem is meant to be a city of spirituality and a city of godliness. And I think that already pilgrims from all over the world come to this city to access that which makes it special and powerful. And I'll share with you, this insight I received from a Christian minister. And, I don't remember the exact circumstances, but I was discussing my frustration with the mayor, and he said to me that the things that will last in Jerusalem are the things that are connected to its history, and that the things that are not deeply rooted in its history will be temporary. So, as much as I appreciate the gift that the mayor has brought to this city in terms of making it fun, I don't think that our strength will be in our marathons or in our movie theaters. I think that our strength will be in making this a worldwide center of spirituality. I think it already is. I, by the way, dream of a day where the Muslims will set aside the path that they've chosen, to a large extent, in which they view themselves in opposition, and understand that really there's one God, and that really and the expectation is that humanity live in brotherhood with one another. Now, I'm not naive. I recognize that we're not there, and I recognize that we need to have some very clear and clear stands and stand our ground with conviction. But my vision is a day where this is the worldwide center of the people in the world who view humanity's mission and role as serving God.
Exactly, and God said this is where He's put His name, in Yerushalayim. If a Christian's coming from around the world coming to Jerusalem, what would you say would be some of your highlights?
Well, I mean, my personal highlights, of course, are Jewish highlights.
Yes.
And, you know, I often host Christian guests and friends in our city. And I really feel that it's a blessing for them to experience Friday night at the Western Wall and have a sense of you know, how is it that Jews stand and pray in a holy place and witness that. And then I try to walk from the Western Wall home through the city to my home, which is about a half an hour walk through the city center on Friday night, and see, you know, how at a time of restfulness and on a day of rest, there's like a shift of energy, and the sense of Sabbath is palpable. You know, and share with them that I dream of a day when the world will feel that way. You know, not that Judaism has any agenda to proselytize, and we don't view the entire world as being Jewish in our messianic vision. But we do view the day of rest as being something which is shared by humankind. So I really, that would certainly be one highlight which I would recommend.
There's great value to that, and there's a purpose to that, because we can work 24/7 and be proud of that, maybe, you know, in our modern world. But there is a plan and a purpose for our being here, and that rest is a very big component of it. Is there anything that you'd like our Canadian viewers to know about your role here as a counselor, and maybe some of the what would you like to say to our Canadian viewers?
Okay, well, I think that first of all, Jerusalem is a city which is often associated with extremism, and extremism can be very exclusive. And you know, it's important to me, first of all, that Canadian viewers and that Christians around the world know that there's an Orthodox rabbi in Jerusalem who is welcoming to Christians. And I feel like that is not always something which is it isn't something which can be taken for granted, and it's something that's important to know. And that we view the Christian care and concern and support of Israel as a blessing, and also that there's a city right now which is in the midst of a renaissance, of a tremendous opportunity for growth, a lot of development, and without a doubt, a big part of that strength comes from visitors. So I think that, you know, over here I will also say that, you know, as much as the religious imperative to come to Jerusalem, to make a pilgrimage to Jerusalem is significant, the economic value of tourism is also extremely significant. And I would say, encourage people, if they feel that they want to do something in support of Israel, come to Israel and visit. Not only once, come again and again.
So thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Aaron.
Really my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please share this video, and on YouTube, click the button below to become a subscriber. In consideration of Canada's 150th birthday, please consider 150 ways to bless Israel through your Christian embassy, the ICEJ Canada. Consider becoming a $150 monthly donor. Plant 150 trees, 150 prayers for Israel. The opportunities are endless. Please contact us.